Just think about the impact our state and possibly nation would have if every single eligible California college student not just registered, but also turned out to vote. I also want to mention that we are joined today by California Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, and special guests from each of the higher education systems leadership teams. Thank you all again for joining us today. And now I will hand it over to Kevin to get us started with the event agenda.
Thank you, Wendy. Oh, there we go. As part of today's agenda, we're going to be covering a couple of items before beginning the awards presentation. So for those of you who may not know about the Students Vote Project, we'll be starting off with a brief overview about who we are and what we do. Following that introduction, we will give an overview about the Ballot Bowl competition and why it was created. And shortly after, we'll begin the awards presentation following some closing remarks and reminders.
All right, to begin, I'm going to give a brief overview, as Kevin mentioned, of the Students Vote Project and the work we do. So the California Students Vote Project was established in 2016 through an agreement done by the California Secretary of State, the California Lieutenant Governor, a handful of nonprofits, and each of the higher education systems. The goal was to increase the civic engagement levels of college students and those in the 18 to 24 age group. This group was not very civically engaged and had lower than average voter registration rates in comparison to other age groups. 2 years after being established, the Students Vote Project was committed to find more ways to engage college students and launched the first ever California University and College Ballot Bowl competition in 2018, which is why we are all here today. We'll be getting more into the Ballot Bowl in the next slide. In 2020, we began implementing the Student Civic and Voter Empowerment Act, which is landmark legislation that took pieces from the agreement back in 2016 and made it into state law. We also host and participate in events aimed at expanding the knowledge of voting and civic engagement, in addition to creating easy to understand voting resources for college students and young people. And now Kevin will talk a little bit more about the Ballot Bowl.
Thank you, Wendy, for providing that overview of the SVP. So now I'll be covering a little bit about the California University and College Ballot Bowl, which is a friendly competition where all California higher education systems, which consists of the California community colleges, the California state universities, the UCs, and the independent colleges, where they all compete to register the most students to vote within a 12-week period. The Ballot Bowl was created to promote student voter registration and introduce a competitive nature in the world of civic engagement. This aligns with the goals of the SVP to assist college campuses to increase student voter registration within their student bodies, as the 18 to 24-year-old age group consistently has the lowest voter turnout in our elections. There are a total of 4 categories that a campus may place in, which are overall champion, having the highest number of students registered to vote, having the highest percentage of students to vote, or having the most creative approach to registering students. Before we continue, I would like to remind you all about the importance of using the unique voter registration link ending in !T=S. This link prompts you to select your college, and upon completing the online voter registration form through this link, your submission will be counted toward your college's overall voter registration numbers. With that being said, I'd like to hand it back over to Wendy, who will lead us into the beginning of the awards ceremony.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin. So before we get started with the awards presentation, I would like to introduce California Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber. Throughout her career, Secretary Weber has been a strong supporter of empowering students and young people to become more civically engaged. Secretary Weber was appointed to serve as California Secretary of State by Governor Newsom on December 22nd, 2020, and originally sworn into office on January 29th, 2021. She is California's first Black Secretary of State and only the 5th African American to serve as a state constitutional officer in California's 170-year history. She was reelected to the office of Secretary of State in November of 2022. Before becoming Secretary of State, she served 4 terms as an assembly member representing California's 79th Assembly District. Secretary Weber was a professor for 4 decades in the Department of Africana Studies at San Diego State University, where she served several terms as department chair. As a legislator, Secretary Weber's tireless quest for equality resulted in her pursuit of reforms in education and social and criminal justice. Her equity-oriented legislation included school finance accountability, ethnic studies, quality instruction, elections reform, voting rights, affirmative action, among others. In addition, Secretary Weber chaired the Select Committee on Campus Climate, which was created to examine hate crimes on California campuses, and the Select Committee on Higher Education in San Diego County, which explored the need for an additional higher education facility in San Diego. Secretary Weber is a mother of 2 adult children, 3 beautiful grandchildren, and was married for 29 years to the late Honorable Daniel Weber. She is number 6 in a family of 8 children. Her parents, David and Mildred Nash, are deceased. Her hobbies are reading and traveling. I hope Secretary Story empowers each of you to accomplish your goal and aspirations. It really is an honor to have California Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, here today to recognize the winning campuses. And now I will hand it over to you, Madam Secretary.
Well, thank you, Wendy, and thank you, Kevin, for spearheading the opening of this particular event. As pointed out, I'm Dr. Shirley Weber. I'm California's Secretary of State, and this is really the fun part of my job. I get a chance to work with college students that I've spent my whole life working with, but getting a chance to see them basically become very civically engaged and taking the baton of basically running this country as we hope you will do. And so I'm really honored to be with you today. It's been an amazing experience to watch and to see what is happening with the Ballot Bowl for the last really 3 times that I've had an opportunity to be involved with the Ballot Bowl, and to see the winners and to listen to the exciting things that you did to become a winner. So I want to welcome you to the 2022 Ballot Bowl Virtual Awards Ceremony. And I want to thank all of you for attending, those of you who worked on this project, the students, as well as many of your administrators. Each of our campuses worked hard to register as many eligible college students as possible during the 12-week Ballot Bowl competition. We are here today to recognize and honor the top performers in each category in our higher education system. So once again, thank you for your hard work. I want to thank every campus that participated, because you laid the foundation for obviously the past election. And we know that many of you who didn't win awards this year will basically be even more motivated to do it in the coming year. So let's begin. Let's begin with our first category. Our first category is the overall champion. This campus registered the most students to vote out of 234 campuses and universities that entered this competition. I mean, we have grown, and it's amazing that we have 234 college campuses and universities participating in this process. And so the overall champion in this category, and I'm sure some of you will try to think of the things that they did that you can do in the coming year to make yourself in this category, or put you in this category. It was the campus that was one of our independent colleges, Stanford University, really won this particular, the overall champion award, the highest award. They registered 1,046 students. They were helped by the Stanford Vote project that they have on their campus and their staff. And some will say, well, how did they win? Well, Stanford integrated voter registration and civic engagement into their course enrollment process so that every student was touched by their efforts to try to register them to vote. So we're really honored to have with us today the overall champion at Stanford University. Alexa Cooper is here to accept the award. Alexa.
Yeah, thank you so much to Secretary of State, Dr. Weber, and the Students Vote Project team for presenting Stanford with this award. My name's Alexa. I'm a sophomore at Stanford and one of the student leaders of Stanford Votes, our campus's nonpartisan civic engagement organization. I'm very proud of the time and energy that all of the students that have engaged with Stanford Votes have dedicated to this cause over the past several months, and the partnerships that we've been able to develop with administration, athletics teams, faculty, and community centers to make voting an essential piece of a Stanford education. I'm really passionate about the power of the youth vote, and I'm committed to continue building this sense of civic responsibility and trust in the democratic process that will hopefully last long after students graduate from our campus. So congrats to all of the campuses being recognized today, and I look forward to continuing this work as we gear up for the 2023 election. Thank you.
I want to thank you very much for accepting the award. We really appreciate Stanford and the hard work that has taken place with Stanford. Now let's move to our next category of honorees. The next category of honorees is here to accept the award on their, each one will have someone to accept it on their part. This category is called the highest number of students registered to vote. And this basically, there are 3 recipients in this category. These are ones who have the highest number of registered voters in a particular category. Beginning with our community college, we have 3 recipients, one at community college, and this is Bakersfield College, is registered 156 students. And who helped them to win? All the members of the Get Out the Vote committee worked hard in Bakersfield to do this. They sent out frequent reminders via the Renegade Pulse newsletter to their student body, which contained information on voter registration and important civic and election dates. So let us hear it for Bakersfield College. as the recipient of one of the highest numbers of students registered to vote on our community college level. Harvin Gruel is going to accept the award for them. Harvin.
Thank you so much, Secretary Weber. Hi, everyone. My name is Arvind Gadiwal. I am a California Community College student here at Bakersfield College. And today makes me very proud to be here in front of you all to be accepting this award. I'm thrilled to be here representing a group of individuals who've shown an exceptional commitment to promoting civic engagement on our campus. I'm very grateful to be a part of a team that's demonstrated unwavering dedication and passion towards promoting democracy and ensuring that every voice is heard. And also, I'd like to express my heartfelt gratitude to the California Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, and the Students Vote Project for recognizing our efforts and achievements in the 2022 California University and College Ballot Bowl. Winning the award for the highest number of students registered to vote, it's a great accomplishment, and we are very proud to have played our part in promoting voter registration and awareness amongst our students. With that, I'd also like to extend my sincere thanks to Dr. Nikki Demania, the Dean of Students, Leonardo Ayala, the Assistant Director of Student Life, who's here with us today, and Nicole Alvarez, Program Director, Office of Student Life, and Jordan Bennett, for their invaluable support, guidance, and encouragement throughout this journey. Their leadership and commitment to our cause have been instrumental in achieving this success. Last but not least, I want to thank the Bakersfield College Student Government Association officers and members for their dedication and hard work in promoting civic engagement on our campus. Their efforts in motivating and inspiring our fellow students to register to vote have been the driving force behind our success. Our success in the Ballot Bowl reflects not only our commitment to civic engagement, but also our deep and abiding faith in the power of democracy. By encouraging young people to register to vote and participate in the democratic process, we are creating a better, more just and equitable future for all. Once again, thank you all for this incredible recognition. It's an honor to accept this award on behalf of BC, and we are committed to continuing our efforts to promote civic engagement and democracy. It's a privilege and inspiration to be recognized along so many other outstanding California colleges and universities. So let us all continue to work together to inspire, educate, and empower the next generation of civic leaders and to build a bright future for all. Thank you.
Thank you, Harvin. Appreciate that so much. Let us move now to our next honoree. The next winner is in the higher ed system is at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. Cal Poly registered 646 students to register them to vote. And they attribute their success to Associated Students Incorporated and the Associated Student Incorporated professional staff that helped to do this. The student government hosted an annual voter registration campaign called Flex Your Rights, where they provided students with a chance to register to vote using their campus address or their home address. Who to accept the award for Cal Poly San Luis Obispo is Tyler Coari. Tyler.
Thank you. And I just want to begin by saying a big thank you to you, Secretary of State, Dr. Shirley Weber, and all the staff of the Secretary of State's office and the Student Vote Project. I think you all did a fantastic job at highlighting the importance of civic engagement among students and the importance of voter registration for young people who are usually a group that is frequently missed in the voter registration process. I'd also like to extend a big thank you to, as you said, members of the professional staff here at Associated Students Incorporated, including Katie Ogden, our civic engagement student assistant, who helped lead the Flex Your Right campaign, Lindsay Lee, who's been a fantastic support for all of us here at Associated Students Incorporated, especially with civic engagement, and Tracy Watson, our administrative assistant, who's also done a fantastic job helping us all out. Some other folks in our campus administration, such as Justin Wellner and members of the Dean of Students office, were instrumental in our success here. And I just like to say I'm very honored and pleased to accept this award, but it was really a group effort, and all of my fellow students here at Associated Students Incorporated were critical in us having such success with civic engagement among students. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Tyler. And we appreciate all the work that the students there at Cal Poly and winning this award. Our last recipient for the ones with the highest number of registered voters comes from the UC system, UCLA. I'm a Bruin, so I'm really excited that UCLA is added into this group. They registered 817 students, and who helped them was their project called Bruins Vote and Grow Votes. They brought vote centers to campus and provided outreach to cultural groups and others underrepresented populations. They also focused on peer-to-peer voter registration efforts. So we're very proud of UCLA winning the award with 817 votes, and who to accept the award for them is Carmen Lee. Carmen.
Thank you so much, Dr. Weber, and go Bruins. So again, my name is Carmen Lay. I'm a fourth-year student and second-year transfer student, as well as chairperson of Bruins Vote, UCLA's student-led, nonpartisan civic education and engagement coalition. It's a real privilege to accept this award on behalf of UCLA, and I'm really proud to say that we did have the highest number of students registered to vote of all the UCs. And so there's some amazing Bruins I'd like to shout out because we definitely didn't do this alone. First up are all the amazing and passionate volunteers for Bruins Vote. Their time and energy were the backbone of our efforts to make sure that people were registered and informed about their voting rights. Then we have Karen Hedges and Philip Goodrich. I know Karen's here today. They're our amazing student affairs staff, and nothing would have been possible without their guidance and mentorship. So thank you. Next are our friends at Grow Votes, who couldn't be here today, but they created an amazing tool to bring digital relational organizing and social accountability to our campus voting efforts. And it was a real honor to play a part in Megan Weber and Dr. Craig Fox's research. And last but not least, thank you to Krisha Basilio, who is our Civic Engagement Communications Director. She can't be here today because she's busy crushing a midterm, but Bruins Vote and UCLA as a whole are truly indebted to her leadership, kindness, and insane graphic design skills. So once again, we're extremely grateful to the Students Vote Project, Dr. Weber, for this honor, and congrats to all the other civic leaders here today. We're advancing youth civic engagement, and you inspire us every day. And once again, go Bruins.
Well, thank you, Carmen, and thanks for all the hard work at UCLA and those who work to make it possible for you to be the recipient of this award. We're now moving on to our next category, and there are 4 recipients in this category. And this deals with percentage. And this is important because oftentimes a campus that's not really large think they have difficulty getting the largest number of votes and so forth and so on. So giving a percentage award really recognizes the various sizes that the campuses have and kind of equalizes the competition. And so we have 4 campuses that were the highest percentage of students who registered to vote based on their student body population. So we'll begin with our community college campus, Butte College. The percentage of student registered to vote was 0.7%. Now, who helped the campus to win was Associated Student Government and staff that worked hard together. And how they won was they hosted an event called Belonging at Butte, where all campus clubs tabled at the most populated area of campus. The Butte College of Associated Students had a voter registration table at this event where they registered many students to vote. And who's to accept the award from Butte College today is Tara Purcell. Tara.
Thank you. I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of our campus community. My name is Tara Purcell, and I am the Vice President of the Associated Students. And this was an exciting award. Our efforts in promoting voter registration during Butte Days. On behalf of our campus, I would like to express our deep appreciation for the recognition we have received for our civic engagement efforts. It is an honor to have received this award from the Secretary of State, Shirley Weber, thank you, and the Student Vote Project, who have been at the forefront of promoting all of the voter registration and engagement, which is exciting and important to leading our future. And we are also proud to be recognized for our work again in promoting voter registrations. I also would like to put out a dedication and a big thank you to our associated students on campus, as that couldn't have happened without them, as well as our clubs on campus that really created the engagement for students to participate and sign up. And so again, we thank you. This award is a testament of power and collaboration and importance to civic engagement, and it motivates us to continue our efforts to promote the democratic participation as well and create a more equitable society. Once again, we thank you, Secretary of State Shirley Weber and the Student Vote Project for this award, and we extend our heartfelt appreciation again to the Associated Students of Butte College and on the campus. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and thank you all for your hard work in making this possible for Butte. So it's great to have you as a part of the winning team at this time. Our next recipient of the high percentage actually goes to another campus that I've spent a lot of my life in, 40 years at San Diego State University. So I'm really pleased that San Diego State is one of those campuses receiving the awards. And I know it's a difficult one because they're a very large campus, over 30,000 students registered to vote, and registered to be students there. The percentage of student body registered was 1.7%. And who helped them to win was a program they have called Rock the Vote Leadership Team. They won by leading up to the primary and general elections, the Rock the Vote registration and education team. They hosted weekly outreach events where students asked voter registration and questions and answers to the total population. And so here to accept the award today is Robinson Winter and Grace De Vega. This is San Diego State with 1.7% of their student body registered to vote.
Hi, thank you so much. My name is Robson Winter. I'm the CSU Associate Students Vice President of External Relations. Thank you so much for this award and for all the work that the Secretary of State and the Student Vote Project do to encourage active civic engagement among students and youth. I think that this project is so successful because it serves as a reminder for many students that voting is not just a personal task or a thing that they have to do, but that voting is something we do as a community. That is something to be proud of. Speaking of being proud, I cannot be more proud of all the students that worked with me this year on our Rock the Vote campaign and helped to register so many students. We recognize many places where civic engagement could be improved on campus, and we reached out to work with those communities. One of those communities was our first-year population on campus living in the dorms. Over the course of the week leading up to the voter registration deadline, we spent multiple hours in each of the campus's 7 dorm halls. This truly pushed our numbers up and would not have been possible without our dedicated team. To talk more about our amazing team, I'd like to hand it off to Grace De Vega, who has been an exemplary model of civic engagement and passion surrounding voting since she first got to SDSU.
Thanks, Rob. My name is Grace De Vega. I was this year's vice chair for SDSU's Rock the Vote team. I want to start by thanking Secretary of State Weber. We at SDSU are huge admirers of your advocacy, as well as your previous work at SDSU and in San Diego. So we want to thank you so much for this recognition. I also want to extend the most heartfelt thank you to the SDSU Rock the Vote leadership team this year. They are the ones that made this happen. It was their dedication, hard work, sacrifice of time and energy and enthusiasm that they brought to every single meeting, event, tabling session that we had that made me and Rob's jobs incredibly easy this year. And so this recognition today is because of you all. And then with that, I would like to thank our AS advisors at SDSU. Their insight and support made this one of the smoothest campaigns that we've had here. And then lastly, we want to thank the SDSU student body as a whole. They are this embodiment of this idea that young voters can and will change politics over the next few years. I mean, our numbers speak for themselves. SDSU students were excited to register, willing to learn about the issues. They showed up in literal rain or shine to make sure that their vote was heard and counted. And so we owe them a huge thanks for showing up and showing the power of the student voice. So thank you all again so much.
Thank you.
Well, thank you all, and thanks so very much for the hard work that you did on the campus. San Diego State is a powerhouse in many ways, and so it's good to know that you're winning here in this category. We'll continue to work with you. When I was at San Diego State, most students know you could not attend my class unless you were a registered voter. I would stop you the very first day and drill all of those who had not registered to vote and tell them they had to get registered to vote unless they obviously did not want to do very well in my class, because I would probably have a bad attitude every time they wrote a paper. So it motivated my students to be 100% voters in my class. And so it's good to know you're continuing the tradition of making civic engagement and voting very important at San Diego State. Thanks so very much. Our third recipient in higher education is the University of California's UC Santa Barbara. They registered 3% of their student body this past year. And what helped them to win was their UCSB Vote Coalition that they formed. They hosted a ballot party where attendees, guided by prominent local leaders, went through every office and proposition on the 2022 general election ballot, which gave tremendous education to the students about what they were voting for and motivated them to register to vote and to also vote. The person who's accepting for UC Santa Barbara is Viviana Marzano. Viviana.
Hello, everybody. My name is Viviana Marzano, Director of Civic and Community Engagement. On behalf of the Gauchos Vote Coalition and UC Santa Barbara, I would like to thank the Secretary of State for this recognition. Also, a shout out to Peyton Dilday our volunteer and voter registration intern for more than 3 years. And I would also like to thank our off-campus volunteers who came to help with the in-person drive, many of whom are actually senior citizens who heard about this effort and came and offered their support. I also would like to recognize other voter registration coordinators in the UCs and other colleges and universities who do this job many times in addition to their other duties. I recognize that this is hard work, but it's important work. And finally, we often mention that our youth between the years of 18 and 29 are the least engaged in our voting process. But I think this is changing. We saw it in the 2020 election. And I hope we all here had a little to do about it, in that increase. And I feel that this is also going to be a trend to increase in 2024. So I guess we have a lot more work to do. And thank you again to the Secretary of State for this recognition.
Well, thank you very much, Viviana. It's great to have UC Santa Barbara being honored this time for their work in registering students. Our final winner in this category is an independent college, Pitzer College. The percentage of student body registered was 1.2%. And who helped them to win this were the People's Pitzers, what it's called. And they included voter registration in the student orientation process. They also hosted voter registration tables during civic holidays. They provided transportation to the polls on election day through the Pitzers Van program. They were determined to make sure that their voters not only registered, but also participated by actually casting their ballot. To accept on behalf of the campus is Jessica Charez. Jessica, thank you for being here today.
Hi, greetings everyone. My name is Jessica Chires, and I'm a proud alumna and current Assistant Director of Community Engagement at Pitzer College. I am humbled and honored to accept this award on behalf of the CEC at Pitzer College. This recognition from the California Secretary of State for the 2022 University and College Ballot Bowl is a testament to the tireless work and commitment of our team of staff and students towards promoting civic engagement and social justice. At the Community Engagement Center, we believe that education and engagement go hand in hand, and we strive to foster a sense of civic responsibility and activism in all of our students. Our programs are designed to empower young people to become informed and engaged citizens and to use their voices and actions to affect positive change in their communities. One of our flagship programs, the People's Pitzer, or TPP, is a shining example of our commitment to civic engagement. TPP is a student-led initiative that promotes community organizing, social justice advocacy, and community building through a variety of activities and events. From hosting voter registration drives to organizing community dialogues on critical issues, TPP is making a difference in the lives of students and community members alike. We know here at Pitzer that civic engagement is essential to a healthy democracy, and we are proud to play a role in empowering the next generation of leaders. This award serves as a reminder that our work is not done and that we must continue to fight for a more just and equitable society. I would like to give a special shout out to our most active student advocate, Elena Newberger, who led TPP efforts during 2022, and to mathematics professor, Judith Grabner, who has advocated for civic engagement on campus for decades. Thank you again to the California Secretary of State for this recognition, and to all of our partners, supporters, and volunteers for your tireless work towards a more just and democratic future. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, and give our regards to those at Pitzer. We really appreciate the efforts that you put in winning this time. Our next and final category is called the most creative approach to registering voters, to student voters, and by higher education system. And there were 4 recipients in this creative category. The first one at our community college is the College of the Canyons, who helped them to win this was something called Engage the Voter Committee. And how they won, they engaged the voter team by meeting weekly during the 2022 general election to discuss and plan ways to increase student engagement and voter participation on their campus. They hosted and facilitated many events and provided ongoing voter registration information to their student body. Who to accept this creative award for the College of the Canyon is Jesse McClure. Jesse.
Ooh. Thank you very much, Dr. Weber. I appreciate that. Shirley, creative. That was our approach. It truly was. And it's so awesome that some of these other schools have such great teams built, but in our circumstance, she won't want me to say it, but times it was a team of one, along with Dr. Patty Robinson, who's the director of our civic engagement team, did some amazing work. And the most important thing she did in my case was find me. And sort of, I'm a 36-year-old student, and for her to empower me to be a part of the civic engagement process on campus was so exciting. And we took that and ran with those students who candidates, a bunch of town halls on campus so they can meet all their candidates. But the goal also was not just the election that just came and gone, but it's about future elections. So we would establish contacts with who those elected officials were going to be, and we've had them on campus multiple times. So we're preparing for the next group of students to come in. Obviously, as a community college, we have a smaller window, so we want to make sure we continue in building that momentum. But we took it a step further from there, not just our students on campus, but we're sharing our data through surveys and different means with other campuses all throughout California. Butte College, we just met with Sac State, sharing our civic engagement data so they can build on it. It's not just for us registering students to vote on COC campus, but throughout the state of California. And it can go even further. Shirley, Patty got me to run for the Board of Trustees at our campus. I would have been the first student in 40 years to serve on board. I lost by 1 vote. I mean, you got to love the democratic process, but that's the real life example of just having even just one faculty director for civic engagement, how we can truly empower students. So thank you again. Thank you to Patty, and good job, everyone. It's amazing to be in your guys' presence and seeing all the amazing work you do. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Jesse. And you've obviously a motivator, didn't need obviously but one, as motivated as you are to get the campus rolling. So thanks for your enthusiasm, and hopefully your enthusiasm is infectious and others pick up on it and it will grow. So thank you for what you've done on your campus and working on all the other campuses. The next recipient of the award is the creative CSU Channel Islands. They were helped by the AICCU civic engagement trucks and giveaway. Been included fun activities such as carnival games and prize, while also having voter registration stations with QR codes and iPad into the registration website. What a creative effort, and obviously a lot of fun. So here to accept it on behalf of CSU Channel Islands is Allegra Grace.
Thank you, Dr. Weber. So thank you everyone in the Secretary of State Office and the Students Vote Project for this honor. I, again, am Allegra Grace. I am the AICCU Student Government Chief of Staff. And my team and I, we went into this really with a unique aspect to see that as a smaller campus, we really had to think outside the box on how to engage our students. And so hearing from the College of the Canyons, it really resonated with me that sometimes you got to really just kind of look at it with a new perspective when maybe you're a smaller team. So just as mentioned, we did host a civic engagement carnival, which had just 100 participants, which was the best turnouts we've seen for a voter registration of COVID. So the executive team and our Senate and our ASI post 10 people, we were able to register 0.6% of our body population, which was incredible to see. We were very happy to see that, and we're very motivated to be able to pass our knowledge on these creative ways to engage our campus to our next administration, who we swore in today. So very excited to see how they take up for next year and to see how it all pans out. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, and thanks for all the work you're doing in Channel Island. Really pleased to see you guys move into this category of creativity and helping us to get young registered. Next recipient is the University of California, Berkeley. The Vice Chancellor's Advisory Board on Student and Civic Engagement and Empowerment helped them to win this award. They hosted something called Votecella, which was free music festival so much like UC Berkeley, to help UC Berkeley students register to vote and become civically engaged before the online voter registration deadline. I'm sure students enjoy the music, but obviously they help you to become one of the creative folks in terms of elections. So we're pleased to have today to accept the award for UC Berkeley, Alex Edgar.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Weber, and to the rest of the team at the Students Vote Project and Secretary of State's office. Big thank you from everyone here at UC Berkeley. And you know, I'm here as the director of the AICCU Vote Coalition, which is our official student civic engagement organization on campus. And we're just really honored to have received the most creative approach to register students to vote, because as an already highly civically engaged campus, oftentimes it's, you know, it's less about the voter registration. It's more about how can we turn these registered voters into actual voters and making sure that they turn out to vote and that they're also educated to vote. And that's why big events like Vochella, which is our massive, thousands of students show up to the Civic Engagement Music Festival, to we have a Creating Citizens Speaker Series, which connects students with local and statewide politicians, the countless hours of tabling and class wraps and dorm storms and other strategic partnerships. We're really lucky to have an incredible team working on this to make sure UC Berkeley students are engaged. And I just want to take a second to thank some of the people that made all of this possible. For my team here at the AICCU Vote Coalition, it includes Skylar Betts, Reagan King, Ava Escobedo, and Grace Totley, as well as our campus and nonprofit partners, Sandra Bass, Bailey Henderson, Mikhail Candelaria, Justin Gomez, Esther Gooley, Carolyn Smith, and LaKenya Jordan. We really, you know, Berkeley is a large campus, and in order to reach voters, we need a lot of support. And our ragtag team of students got a lot of support from our admin and other nonprofits. So we're just really, really fortunate and super excited to, continue the drive, continue the spirit going into the next year, and of course, prepping for the 2024 election cycle as well. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, and thanks for obviously the creativity of having the Vochella concert and activity for students. I'm sure it motivated most of them to understand and connect the importance of the work that they do, as well as the fun you can have as being a voter. Our final and the last winner in the final category is in one of our independent colleges, is California College of the Arts. And they were helped by the campus of College of Arts Voting Coalition that was formed. And how they won was they had what they call creative citizen courses, which build student skills in creative activism and civic engagement. Students search for them specifically when registering the classes. Course topics include social justice, civic or political engagement, community outreach, and more. And there's an average of 40 creative citizen tag courses during the academic year that students could enroll in and learn more about civic engagement as well as register to vote. Who's here to accept the award today is Noki Sikeo, who's with us today to accept the award.
Thank you, Dr. Weber, and especially to those that coordinated the Ballot Bowl competition. I just want to give a special shout out to Kevin. I loved your emails. There were many. We're absolutely honored to be recognized for this year's most creative approach to register student votes, and, especially as a small art and design school located in San Francisco. We approach civic and democratic engagements through the lens of creativity, but more so, how does one's creative practice makes a difference in the community? How do we make art that matters? One of the challenges is that we have a significant international population. So how do we not only encourage students through their studio and their coursework, but to see the responsibility to vote? And so I'm going to share, how do we meet students where they're at? And anecdotally, we were able to do some targeted workshops where international students not only encourage their fellow domestic students to vote, even those that couldn't. With that, we would like to thank our core members who did work above and beyond their own responsibilities, and our many advisory groups, both internal and external partners. And we recognize that democratic engagement work is a community and collective effort. Some special shout outs to those that kept this group together in the sea of change that has been all things these last few years. Our committee chair, Jimmy Austin, Mariah Trevino, our community voting organizer and student representative for undergraduate students. Annie Yu Yang Long, community voting organizer for student representatives for undergraduates. And Anne-Marie Giglio, community voting organizer and student representative for graduate students. I also like to thank Trey Terrio for working with us and the SF Department of Elections to make sure that our campus can continue to serve as a polling location. And a special shout out to Connie Jo Mills, who was the catalyst for civic and democratic engagement at CCA back in 2018. And so again, thank you for this recognition and the affirmation of the work we've done and what we need to continue to do.
Well, thank you very much to CCA, the College, California College of the Arts, and to all of you for your work that you've done, not only in being just the number one person to get the most votes, but having the percentage of votes and having the creativity, and then the overall recipient in terms of the highest number at Stanford University. We are really honored to simply be the persons to say congratulations to all of you for the work that you've done. I know it takes a lot of work, and I've asked it. As I travel around the state, people ask me questions about what happens with the student vote project and what do we have them to do. And I have to explain to people, this is a student-led effort that the campuses take on the challenge and the charge. They don't have to follow our method or our plan to get it done. But they all, each of you approach this topic very differently based on the culture of your campus and the support you get from students as well as administrators. I want to thank all of our administrators who have taken on the challenge of encouraging young people to vote. Those who are innovative and creative have done things to change their registration process to basically make sure that the campus is accessible to students and that they not only register to students to vote, but make it possible for students to cast their ballots by having ballot boxes on their campus or carrying folks to the polls to vote, whatever it may be. It is extremely important that our students take charge. When the legislature looked at the initial numbers of how poor we were doing with regards to students actually participating in the project of the process, people at that point realized we've got to do something. We've got to encourage our students. We have to help them understand that their role is not tomorrow, but it is today, and that their roles should last for a lifetime. And this is something we want to pass on to you. So I'm honored that we've been able to offer this again. We will continue to work with our students and make sure that they transition into becoming the leaders in our community is always clear and available to all of them. So I want to thank you all for participating. I have to thank my staff, the creative staff. Janelle Jackson is the overall coordinator of all of our outreach efforts. But I want to thank Wendy and Kevin for leading the Student Vote Project, for doing the work that they do. They seem to love it. Obviously, they've taken the charge and they move forward with it. And all of those who work with our outreach efforts. Keep in mind that our office is always available and open to you to basically get engaged and to bring any of our workers to your campus to help us help you in any way we can to basically grow and develop it. The fact that we have over 200 campuses now that are actually participating in this project is absolutely amazing. We're going to see it. We saw it in 2020 in the elections when our students stepped up and voted. We'll see it in 2024 when they do it again. So we're excited about the fact that you are taking the lead, and all elected officials have to stop and pay attention to our students and make sure that their messages are clear and that they include you in their consideration of who's going to represent this country and how we're going to keep our democracy alive. So once again, thank you so very much for being with us today, all of you. At this time, I want to turn it back over to our staff at the Student Vote Project, and they will basically close out. But once again, thank you for coming. Thank you for participating, not only in this ceremony, but thank you for all of your hard work to get our students registered and engaged and see their place in this democracy and saving our democracy. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much, Secretary Weber, for your wonderful remarks and just continuing to be just such a great leader. As mentioned, the SVP team is very excited to see each campus's future efforts in next year's Ballot Bowl competition. Once again, we thank everybody for continuing to promote the importance of voter registration and civic engagement among all your campuses. And we appreciate any and all efforts to further strengthen our democracy and increase the presence of young voters. With that being said, I'd like to remind everyone that our next Ballot Bowl competition will begin August 12th, 2024 and end on Election Day, Tuesday, November 5th, 2024. Lastly, I just wanted to add that SVP will be sending out an email requesting a mailing address to send your physical certificates to. So just please be on the lookout for an email within the next few days coming from our Cast Students Vote email displayed on the screen here. So if anyone has any questions, just please feel free to email us. Otherwise, we thank everyone for coming today and just to have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you, everybody.